Now what's great about this poster board is that each one of these little squares is exactly 1/2 inch. Even this piece right here. And you can pick these up real cheap at Walmart. I like to have them on hand for this. Makes templating really easy. So I want my step to be 4 inch wide and 3 inches tall and about 20 or 24 inches in the back. So I'm gonna measure in 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So make a mark there. That's gonna be my back. And 1, 2, 3. It's gonna be the top of the back. Wait, 1, 2. My bad. Right there, so I can put a bend in that. And let's see. So I'm wanting this, when it sits up in the truck, to be 45, so it basically looks like it's built into the frame. So, just gonna 45 straight down off this 3 inch, and it's kind of nice, these squares too, is because you can just go straight through the square. Alright, so there's that. Now we need to box this in. So I'm wanting this angle to be about 15 degrees instead of straight 90. So what I'm going to do is mark this out right here. That's where that straight section is going to line up. And then I need to come up 15 degrees off of this and get this same length. So I'm going to set this guy up 15 degrees. This lined up on there. Mark it taller than you're thinking. So there's my 15. Now I'm going to set this right in that angle right there and mark the very top. Now, I'm going to take this and make a second one. Next, I'm gonna put a piece that comes in here to there and then to here. Just a nice triangle, and then I'm gonna have one that comes down like that. Alright, so my plan is to have one piece come across here and drop into this, and then I'm gonna have another one that comes in 45 like that. And I'll weld all those seams out. I think it would look better than to just have one piece that comes here. It would look kind of goofy coming across. So, first piece I'm going to do is this. And it's 1, 2, 3 inches. Then I'm going to come down here. Mark that one. And all we're gonna do, mark it straight across the straight edge and cut that out. There it is. Now I'm gonna double this Put it on the other side. We'll be good to go. Alright, now we're gonna go there, there, there. There's that one. Now we're gonna mark this one. Transfer it onto the front. Alright. And when you lay it out, you've got a perfect layout of what you need to cut from sheet metal and where to bend it. And if you measured all the angles, then like this you wouldn't be able to do all of it. But say you wanted this piece and then these three pieces, you've got it all dialed, you got it figured out, not a problem. My metal supplier didn't have any 3/16 plate steel, which would have been nice because it's not covered in mill scale and kind of nasty like this flat bar is. But so I got 3-inch, 4-inch, and then some 6-inch. So this will be obviously for that top 3-inch piece. This will be for the 4-inch bottom. Kind of sucks I gotta weld them, I can't break it. Oh well. And then yeah, I'll lay all these guys out on this. So that means this edge that's on it, I'm gonna grind completely flat. So the way I'm gonna do that is I'm just gonna clamp it to the side of the table and hit it with a 40 grit flap disc nice and square. So to get my 15-degree angle, I used those end caps that I had cut, and I used those as my basic measurement to get my angle right. And once I held that in there, I tacked it, put it back in there to make sure it was all good, and then I tacked it all out. So once I got the end caps tacked on, I went ahead and welded it out, and I started with the outside corners since those use the least amount of heat, or need the least amount of heat. And once I welded all the outside corners, I flipped it over and did the fillet welds, and it welds a lot nicer once it's preheated that way for your fillets. Anywhere where I have a butt weld or something that's close to a butt weld, like this, I like to bevel both sides of it. That way the weld will burn in real nice in there and it won't be too lumped up at the top. Since I have a table that I can burn these out on, I've been trying to get everything as nice and flat as I can to weld on. It makes everything a lot more consistent. And throughout this scene, you'll notice that all my weld directions are going the same way. I'm switching from left-handed and right-handed. That way, everything's kind of going with a flow. And then I end them all up at the top side so that it's all hidden underneath the truck. You won't see any stops just randomly in the step. And a big difference between professional and amateur is a professional will plan those out. So that way when it's finished, it all flows real nice and it's all hidden. So to cut this piece out, I measured from weld to weld, and it was 17 1/4. And I wanted 1/4 inch on each side of this next to the weld, so that gave me 16 3/4. Cut that out, and then I did the same with this, but just 1/4 inch, so it's 3 3/4. So I did 3 1/2 inches, and it turned out pretty nice because I like to cut my expanded metal at the very edge of these things, and then wrap these in nice on the front parts, and then I'll do the same on the back. Yeah. Make sure when you're welding in the expanded metal, you do it usually pretty hot. Basically what you're doing is tacking, and you want those tacks to stick, so you got to make sure it's cleaned off with no mill scale. Now to keep these parallel in the same plane and in the same direction this way, I like to take something like angle iron. And I've only tacked it here on one side. That way it can move better. Now, these are on the same plane. And they're the same plane this way, the same angle. So I'm gonna tack this, go clamp it up on the truck and see what angle I like. Come back, clamp that down to make sure. Alright, I clamped it into the truck and bent it until it was the shape or the angle that I like. Now I'm gonna weld these up. So I'm gonna clamp this to it to make sure it stays on the same plane as it welds. So this is going to mount up underneath the pinch weld under the door, and then so this is going to sandwich that pinch weld, and it's going to basically cantilever. It's going to be 3 inches though, but it's going to cantilever off of the back of that door frame. So that way when you step on it, it's putting the pressure here and not on the pinch weld. But anyway, so I went up there and I cut this guy out with the basic angle that I'm gonna need for these. So this bracket that I'm building, it's gonna have that angle, and it's gonna sit up inside that pinch weld with this angle right here. And I made it 12 inches so I can weld it, cut it in half, and I'll have the same angle for both pieces. And whenever I'm building something for the first time, I put small tacks and the least amount that I can just to hold it in place while I'm twisting everything around. If you put your big monster tacks on there, it's a pain in the butt. Alright, I'm gonna test fit this and then come back. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Sorry I couldn't show all 4 of the steps. I haven't been able to finish them yet because we've been doing a huge remodel on the house. As soon as I do, I'll either put them in at the end of a video or I'll put it in the community tab. So go check out the community tab if you haven't. Like if this video helped you. Subscribe if you're not. Hit that bell. That way you get notified every time. And check out my Instagram, 5th Street Fab. Alright. You guys have a good one.